Well, it's Friday, February 27th, end of the month, longest month of the year, shortest month of the year in the calendar, longest month of the year.
Doesn't feel like it.
February's actually kind of flown by for me. Get to Yes the podcast. No Rooster Goose this week. Dealing with some family matters.
We love
Rooting
you,
for
Russo.
him. So you've got Austin and Ryan kind of taking over for gonna be a pretty fun episode, in my opinion. This is one that we've been talking about doing for almost a year now.
I mean, yes, and we've been talking about this as an idea for maybe 10 years.
Yeah,
It's a lot to try to get into one ep, but we're going to do our best.
I'm very excited.
A lot of feelings. This could be an emotional episode.
Dude, kind of an emotional week for the U.S. men's hockey team getting to Yes, bringing home the gold.
Dude.
That was epic.
Yes. I think I saw that it was the most watched sporting event in any sport for the year.
Really?
I think so. I might be totally making that up, but I did see that somewhere on the internet. So
it was what, 9 a.m. your time, Eastern time? It was 8 a.m. my time.
8:30 puck drop. Yep.
So, I mean, puck drop, 8:30, that's 5:30 on the West Coast. Pretty nuts that they got people to the TVs, but...
It's USA versus Canada, kind of the end of the Olympics. I felt like I had not tuned into these Winter Olympics as much as I've watched other Olympics. Like, normally I get really into it, but I feel like the hockey game was such a classic. I mean, it felt like you were watching Miracle on Ice, dude. It was one of those like transcendent moments of national sport, which I think at the professional level, NIL has destroyed a lot of college football. Goodell has destroyed the NFL. It's hard to find these like true moments.
Goodell, don't at me.
Don't at me. I know that all the owners and Goodell is always tuning in to our consulting services and episodes. Seeing these professional hockey players, it's like high school football, man. It's pure. You're not doing it for the money. It's like Ryder Cup when it like it means more than you're playing for a paycheck or you're trying to get these points or you're playing for your country. I mean, there's nothing like it, man.
Nothing like it.
It's nothing like it. There's a few of these moments. Steph Curry, U.S. basketball team. This is true competition, love of the game, love of country, legacy stuff that is going to, no matter what you do, this is the most proud thing that you will ever have in your sporting career. And it means so much. I mean, the USA was getting just smacked. The second or third period, I forget. I think Canada had 10 shots on goal before USA had an offensive sequence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna botch all the hockey terms because I didn't play hockey like you did.
I'll bring it up.
Clean it up. But it was like, dude, man, the goalie play, it was just so awesome. The grittiest, gutsiest, and dude's getting his teeth blown out of his face, blood everywhere. I mean, it was just like
Hughes, baby.
Dude, and it's like the Olympics is one thing, and then it's like hockey, because hockey is the last true sport that you can actually have contact sport, and everyone is like, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's such a pure physical, like these guys are just beating the shit out of each other all the time. If they fight, they fight. I mean, they are literally leaving everything out on the ice, including multiple teeth, and just pouring everything out there overtime. You're just like, man, this is why you love sports. It had all the magic, man. It was, the freaking Turico, I know we'll get there, but it was just like, I was like, man, I'm going to remember this for decades. That's how cool it was.
Yeah, dude. I mean, a couple of thoughts from me on this. One, I don't know if you were aware of this, but
definitely not.
The Players Association for the NHL, one of their big sticking points at the last negotiation was them being able to play in, obviously, the Olympics, Four Nations. Like, this was the thing that they wanted, among other things, but it was a huge, no, we want to do this, which I think in comparison to, I mean, golf did that a little bit. I mean, you see these guys that
Patrick Cantlay, just
Xander and whatever. It's just it's a different feel. Yeah, I hate golf Olympics. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. But hockey, I think, especially because of 1980, like, it fits the narrative for American Olympics. And if you love America, I don't know how you didn't love Sunday morning. I mean, I don't understand the backlash of what's going on. We can get into that, not get into that. I think
you said everything that you needed to say on that, right?
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand America at this point. Root for your country, root for the guys who want to be there representing your country. kind of full stop for me.
Yeah, dude,
I
it
just
was
don't get it.
it was awesome,
Jack
man.
Hughes at the end of the game, I'm just going off, was
Dude,
awesome.
oh my gosh. Like,
If you're not
you're just
proud to
like,
be an
"This is
American
an
that day,
American hero, man.
yeah.
This is an American hero." Same dude, Hellebuck, like, my god, dude.
And these guys, I mean, that, I think to what you were saying at the beginning, hockey guys are just different. I mean,
They're different, man.
I grew up with a lot of hockey, obviously growing up
Yep.
in the Northeast. I didn't play hockey. We played a lot of pond hockey, but I
Which
mean,
is
all of
still
my
legit.
buddies
That's legit,
played
man. That's
hockey.
very legit. That's
Dude,
more
and
legit than playing in a little rink.
I
Like,
mean,
you're playing on the frozen ice.
it was great. I mean, there are times I really miss that. We'd pull all the cars around the pond to light up the rink at night, and we
That's
just
like
play
Field of Dreams
until,
stuff, man.
yeah.
That
it
is
was,
like that's Americana, dude. Like,
it was great.
yeah.
And it would be all of my buddies who actually were playing hockey at the time, and then a bunch of us that were just, screwing around, but everybody knew how to skate.
Yeah.
And you're checking guys, you're just going all
awesome,
out
dude.
without pads. It was, it's fun. But I mean, for us, it was hockey games in high school were bigger than football games. I mean, we had a
believe
good
that.
football team too, but
Yeah.
I mean, hockey ruled everything because it was just such a scene, be going and down with your buddies to East Haven, Connecticut to the rink and seeing the boys try to get the win. And then, I mean, college hockey too, but like these hockey guys, there's no, I think especially we're an NFL podcast. The juxtaposition for
Golf in
me,
the offseason.
there's all these divas in the NFL. Golf.
It didn't used to be
hockey
this way.
Guys are just not really that way. They just kind of don't care.
It started with soccer. They've always been divas. Then it became
Still
an
are.
NBA. It became an NBA thing.
Yeah.
These guys like NBA, like in the 90s, dude. You look at the Pistons in the 80s. These guys used to fight and beat the hell out of each other. That game got completely neutered. NBA, right? You can't do anything in the NBA. And then that's kind of infected the NFL now. NFL used to be a pure gladiator sport, right?
Yep.
You had these safeties just headhunting people. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, that whole era of guys that are just ball hawk, rip your head off football guys, which I love, has been completely taken out of the game. Now it's an offensive game. Can't hit the quarterback, can't play defense, changing all these stupid kickoff rules, blah, 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 blah. Like, the NFL,
you complain about this
all
the time.
I hate it. The NFL has been the Goodell-ified, whatever, dude. And then they're also playing freaking flag football in the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl used to be, dude,
the
Sean
skills
Taylor,
games.
dude, the skill, like, it's literally it's a powder puff joke.
It's so dumb, man. Why do they even bother?
Dude, why bother? You used to have guys get pumped for the Pro Bowl. Like, you'd have Sean Taylor being a missile, ripping people's heads off in the Pro Bowl. And now it's literally a powder puff little tag 'em up. It's literally flag football, which I think the NFL is basically flag football in a lot of ways. So you see all that trend in other sport, but hockey is
it's still so pure.
I hope hockey never changes. I used to love, dude. I grew up. I mean, the Stars in the 90s were awesome.
Yeah.
I went to.
Totally.
I remember, dude. I went to one of the Stanley Cup Finals games in the 90s with Mike Modano, Darian Hatcher. Dude, that team was. They were warriors, man. Seeing live hockey is like nothing else, man. And that hasn't changed. For me watching that in the 90s to seeing those guys out there getting in fights right away.
Yeah,
they're checking people. You're getting teeth knocked out. Can you imagine if an NFL receiver got his teeth knocked out? He'd be care flighted out of there. The players union rep would be hosting a press conference. He'd be out for 8 weeks. You know what I mean? He'd be doing plastic surgery. These guys have not forgotten. They're like unapologetically a physical sport, and they love it. And they want the action, and it's the Olympics, man. So like
the action.
They want the action. They love it. They love it. Everyone loves it. Hockey is that last just pure physical sport. And it's the Olympics, and it's USA versus Canada. It lived up to the billing. What a classic.
Did. Yeah, man, it was great. And hockey guys they think and they're different. I agree with you. I mean, I think all these sports have gotten diluted, and that's still the one where
diluted is a very nice way of saying it.
Yeah, when we go to not a lot. I mean, I think I went to 8 to 10, probably 8 Preds games this year.
Dude,
so like,
so fun.
It was more than I usually go to.
We used to go to Hurricane games.
Man. Yeah,
back in Raleigh, so fun.
Yeah, man.
Dallas Stars games are freaking awesome.
Yeah. Star's been good the past few years too.
Yeah. Very fun.
Yeah. Kind of moving into where we're going to go with the show today. I mean, Turico I thought was great. And you said this, and this is almost what prompted us doing the show this week.
Yeah, dude. It was
Was
an organic
Turico talk.
1 to 2. Yep.
I think you said, I mean, Turico has to go into the legacy with the big boys like
dude,
Al and all the others.
He may stand alone, dude. He may stand alone. I don't know. He may stand alone.
Oh, well, I mean, Al did Miracle on Ice. So
crazy. Yeah, the crazy thing, Al could still have been calling that game. He's still doing.
Should have been. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's dude. I forgot about that. I was like, Al Michaels has been around, man. He has been around.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna dive into it today. So let's start here. Here's where we're gonna go this week. We're gonna talk through our rankings of NFL announcers. And I think in some ways you might be like, well, that's a little bit of a weird show for what you guys do, but off-season content.
Not. If you think about it, it's not.
It's not. And we all kind of think we're like watching football all day on Sunday, main slate. But the reality is when you're watching football at this point where the NFL is the best product on television, it's not really just watching football. You're watching a television show. You're watching a product about football, and production value matters so much. You ever notice when you're going from the main slate 1 p.m. game, it's fine, it's football, Greg Olson and the Fox B crew team doing the call, or you even have the A teams where you've got Brady and Kevin who are doing the call on Fox. But then 8:20 Eastern hits and it's Sunday Night Football, and we've got Carrie singing the anthem.
Yeah.
Which sidebar, did you know that I'm only allowed to play the Sunday Night Anthem one time a year, and it's the first week, and then Eleanor makes it get muted every single time.
What?
She hates Carrie that much. Yeah. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. I mean, can you maybe it's not the time and place, but why? She's the voice of America.
She's the voice of America.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll get her on at some point.
At some point, when Eleanor makes her appearance, that's going to be on the agenda.
Yeah. What's the hate for Carrie Underwood? And dude, it just hits so different. Sunday Night Football, it's more important because it's a primetime game, but we sometimes wonder, why does it feel so different? The reality is it's not just because the NFL putting the best matchup that they can for the week, but the difference is it's actually different from the production. You got more field mics, more custom graphics, more cameras on the field. It almost has double the cameras in the field, just wild as that is. You have the feature package, and the announcer is kind of like your lead actor here, in my opinion. And that's where I think we never really talk about these guys, but we're going to talk about them today and how much of a difference they can make for your viewing experience. But not only that, how the writers think about the week that was in the NFL. And that goes to MVP awards. That goes to where we pushing the narrative around the NFL that week. That's all driven from these guys in the booth. And so there's some guys, they're just filling the air. There's others that just root for the stars. And that's, they only want to talk about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Some are rooting for a little bit of chaos, which I love. Some feel a little more corporate, some authentic. And I think it makes such a difference. So things like when they let the crowd noise in, that happens during the primetime games. You don't typically get that during the main slate. You also are seeing these effects like the really good play-by-play guys will just let it sit for a second. Right? The booth goes silent over something that is just unbelievable and let you soak in what's happening. So today we're going to rank all of them, and we're going to do our top 3 play-by-play guys and top 3 color commentary guys. Have a little bit of discussion around why we believe these things, and then maybe a little, you want to throw in historical past guys, whatever, we can keep it loose.
Before we start ranking them up, like,
what makes a really good play-by-play guy for you?
I think, and I'm going to be blending here, stuff that matters
between
to me,
color and play-by-play.
It's going to be
okay. What makes a good announcer for you?
I think a few different categories. One, I'm a sucker for the old school kind of newsroom gravitas. They're not afraid of the big call. This stuff is going to be immortalized, and they relish that. No one is better at that than Jim Nantz, period. Jim Nantz loves that. Jim Nantz loves that. I think you could argue maybe
I think
I don't
Al.
maybe Al,
I
old
think
Al,
Al.
maybe vintage Al.
I think today Al,
I don't
but
think today Al still has that. You could argue in the NBA, I know that we're not going there, but Mike Breen,
yeah,
I think that's a
agreed.
guy that's done those moments. And dude, you have like Turico.
Joe Buck.
I disagree.
Joe Buck was
Turico.
I mean, he was the voice of the World Series in the MLB playoffs
That's true.
for
Joe Buck. So
I
that's
mean
another
10
thing.
years.
That's another thing. I think range matters to me, which I'm not a baseball guy, but
You
Joe
like a
Buck.
large range, or you're saying I want you dialed into your specific sport?
I think there's two kinds of range is covering sports. So I think that can be a good or a bad thing. Guys like Tarico and Nance, who can be excellent at multi-sport, very impressive to me. I also think there's a couple other random categories for me. I think the work ethic, like there's some guys that just are the hardest working guys in show business. I think Herb Street was a guy that a few years ago I was like, whatever. But you see this guy, he's Thursday Night Football, he's College Game Day, he's the primetime game on Saturday. And then there's Selection Sunday. Same thing with Tarico, right? He's calling a
Yeah.
game, flying to the Olympics,
Calling golf.
calling golf. Nance used to do March Madness, then the Masters, like
Yep.
which is range and work ethic. Like that's some of those things I think make people truly legendary. And then I also have, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I also think I have a soft spot for comedic guys. I like guys that can add a comic relief in the
Yeah.
booth. Similarly,
the color guys.
yeah, I like that. I don't like guys that are trying to like overly be media personalities.
Yeah.
So like it's a little that's a total preference subjective thing. You're trying to like parlay your NFL like insight to like have your own talk show on a network morning show. I kind of lose some that kind of takes away from it for me. On the other side, like I think guys like Pat McAfee who have like transitioned onto game day, like they're
Yeah.
that's blending genres too because they have a long show every day. They're doing podcasts, but like they are true like hype guys that can totally change the dynamic. So that's my like kind of working criteria on who I kind of gravitate towards, and also like former players that have unique insight and really help explain the game to you.
Yeah.
I love that too because we're sickos for that kind of stuff.
Dude, couldn't agree more with the range comment. There's nothing that I love more than a professional broadcaster, and I think that's getting lost.
Totally, man.
For me, Al is the last one of the era that was that anchorman style feel coming from 70s, 80s when television really mattered.
Yep.
And you were a professional.
Yep.
It feels now there's not as much of that. And in some cases, it feels like we're just letting random people broadcast these games, which is nuts within itself. I've got one that's on my list for the color commentary guys, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I think those guys end up doing a little bit too much. This is my riff with Greg Olson.
I love Greg Olson.
Let's get
Greg Olson.
Is Greg Olson on your list anymore? Are we gonna cover him?
Dude.
All right.
He's not in the oh, I gotcha. Greg Olson is on my list for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just insert your. Okay, cool. Well, then we can hit it in. So I think the way that we're gonna structure this conversation is we're gonna go with our number 3 best and work our way over to our number 1 overall pick. So my third is your number 1, so we'll skip me on number 3.
Can I ask this is a dumb question.
No, please.
So play-by-play versus color commentator for the announcers out there that are following along. Explain the difference between those two things.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's start with that. What is the definition of the play-by-play guys versus the color commentator guys? So play-by-play is you are quite literally calling the game as if you were calling it on radio. So it's for the non-visual audience. I don't know if that's the technical definition, but that's the way that I think about it. They are,
so
you hear guys
is Nance
like
play-by-play.
Nance is play-by-play. Romo is the color commentator guy. And
okay, I got you.
That's, Turico is the play-by-play. Collinsworth is your color commentator guy.
Joe Buck is play-by-play.
He's a play-by-play.
And Aikman would be your color commentator.
Correct.
Okay, so the gravitas guy, and then the kind of
former
like
athlete or a guy that's going to give
analyst.
some on the field. All right, so let's do it. Play-by-play rankings. Get the yes. We're going to start with your number 3 on the play-by-play.
Okay, I've got Al Michaels.
And this is my number 2.
I've got Michaels in
Al
the 3
Michaels.
slot. Here's the thing, dude. I think a couple of these guys, I think of them as like their prime or maybe an older version versus where they're at today. You and I may disagree on this.
And
but
for
I feel
what it's
like,
worth, just to be very clear, Al Michaels calls Thursday Night Football with Herb Street on the other side of him.
So he is the play-by-play, or and then Herbie's his kind of like color commentator guy.
And Al, before that, was doing the play-by-play for NBC Sunday Night Football with Collinsworth. And there was that weird transition when Turico came in for them to fit together with Collinsworth. But let's go back to Al.
I think so. Al is an icon. I mean, no disrespect. I do feel like he has lost a step or two, and I feel like there's been some moments.
He's almost 80.
I know.
I think he might be 80.
I don't think the guy has eaten a vegetable in 50 years. No one is built like Al Michaels. He's a throwback to he's smoke a pack a day, eat a steak a day. You kind of got a constitution that doesn't exist anymore. Al Michaels is truly built different. Here's what I've noticed watching his games. In the moments where it's the big play, the winning drive, he's come off a little flat.
Yeah,
this
I don't
season.
disagree.
So I think you're kind of like you're waiting for like the big emotional payoff of like feeling that moment, which I think these commentators, to your point, it is the experience of the game. They're in the room with you. They're helping you like process this thing, and you're feeling a certain way. There's guys that just really get that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Michaels has done some of the most iconic calls of all time, right? We were just like Miracle on Ice, right? Like there's some things that and there's 100 of them. But I think lately the zip it's kind of like Chris Berman a little bit, right? Like these guys that used to just have that energy. And I love Chris Berman. I love Chris Berman. I mean, problematic potentially, but still love Chris Berman. Those guys that just used to have that excitement and zip, they're still icons, but they've lost a step. He's kind of there for me. All respect. He is truly an icon and built different, but I think today, and I've got some color commentators that I think are in that same box as well. But that's
it's a nostalgia pick for sure. I think for me, he's number 2 because I want to talk a little bit more about Al when we get to Herb Street and the color commentator guys, because I love the combination of the two of them.
Yeah,
but it's not necessarily for Al, other than Al being nostalgic at this point. I like Herb Street for some of the stuff that he does there. So we'll hit that when we hit Herb Street. Yeah. I'm with you, man. I also think there's a factor here that's going to get lost on the next generation. We grew up on SportsCenter, and talking about Chris Berman, thinking about that, and Legend. There's a generation thing for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was it, man. It was always on. It was always
him, on. Van Pelt.
Totally.
I mean, Van Pelt's still doing it. I guess Boomer's still doing it a little bit.
Boomer has come back, and he does those fastest 3 minutes clips. They still keep him around, but it's a different capacity.
Man. I mean, Stuart Scott, R.I.P. Was a legend.
Yeah.
Steve Levy, he would have been my first alternate on this list. I think Steve Levy did a better job on Monday Night Football with play-by-play stuff than almost any of these guys that are on the main, broadcast networks today calling football. There's something about Steve Levy that I just enjoy. He has that radio feel, and I think that's a little bit of what I love about Al too. Is
he's got a great voice, man.
He's given great voice, but he also gives you the description of what's going on, which I still appreciate even if I'm watching the television product. It's almost like I get to see it through Al's eyes, which, talking about kind of the opener to this, that's what I was thinking about a lot. He adds to the game because there's the nostalgic element. Number 3 for me and number 2 for you is Turico. Turico, I think, has come into his own in the past 3 years. Really since he went to Sunday Night Football, I think.
Dude, yes.
I've met him in person. Nice guy. Seems kind of like a nerd, but I think that's what you want.
He isn't. I mean, it's super smart.
Totally.
Super smart. You know how much information that guy's got to keep in his head?
I think Turico is doing a really good job, and I think he's coming into his own. He feels more comfortable. Again, the game on Sunday, watching him call hockey, that adds to the era of Turico. But I also think, I don't know, you don't like Collinsworth, but If you don't like Collinsworth, then you really got to like Turico because they keep that
Yes.
broadcast moving.
Turico, to your point about the newsroom vibe, he has the anchor gravitas. Maybe he's more nerdy, but he knows his stuff. He has the transcendent moment call. He can get up on a big play,
He
very
can pause when
excitable. He can
he knows
pause.
how to do the pause.
He is a pro. He is a pro. He really is. His range on golf,
Oh
very
my gosh.
impressive.
It's
Very
incredible.
impressive.
Yeah.
I really like him in football, but I'm equally impressed when he like flips it over. It just elevates it for me. And then I'm just the hockey call, the end of the game, him reflecting on that. You don't have a script for that. This is him processing a historic moment and putting it into words for the country at the end of the Olympics, identifying that this is going to be the transcendent moment of all the sports you're covering every day. Being able to identify that in the moment and be so elegant in how you're describing it, that is a true art of storytelling as something that's transcending and connecting people and being a memory and understanding what that means to the players, what it means to the country. It's been 47
Or
years
the city that they're
for the
in
city.
the NFL. Yeah.
Dude, yes, like I feel
For
like
sure,
he
man.
is able to connect those threads
Yeah.
in such a elegant way. It is kind of like a news or a media skill, but to your point, news has become so divisive. I'm glad you said that because it is kind of reframing it for me. The play-by-play guy has kind of replaced the news anchor in American life. I feel
Yeah.
like as like a source of comfort. That's kind of what the major network news anchor guy used to be for the country. That
Totally.
doesn't
Tom
exist
Brokaw.
anymore. Tom Brokaw,
It's
they
Larry
don't have the
King. I
audience
mean,
that
they
they
don't
used to have.
exist anymore, man.
Like the people that have replaced them are the Turicos, the Nances. It's bigger than the sport. And I
Yeah.
feel like Turico and the guy that I have at number one, in a way, without like, making it more than it is, I think they accept that responsibility and can elevate in those moments. Those are transcendent, special talents. And you just have to appreciate it.
Lost art form.
Yeah,
But
it truly is, man. It's like,
it's great that we still have some of these guys that do it really, really well.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll go to my number one, who wasn't even on your list, but your number one wasn't on my list either, clearly.
Yeah.
Number one for me is Joe Buck.
Dude, talk to me about Joe Buck.
Joe Buck gets a lot of hate.
I'm a Joe Buck hater, obviously.
I think Joe Buck might be the most polarizing play-by-play guy on the NFL slate for sure. Well, I've never heard somebody really hate on Mike Tirico or Al, but they love to hate on Joe Buck. I don't understand what the hate is about. This is a guy who understands how to deal with the media generally through his personal life. He's been brought up in the business. I mean, his dad was the voice of the Cardinals forever. He's just an Americana St. Louis kid. I think he's great, and he's been able to do golf. Baseball, I loved him even more than on football.
What does he do for golf? What does he do for golf?
Well, when Fox used to have the golf contract, they ended that contract, I think, about 5 years ago. And this was when Joe Buck was still at Fox. He was doing the golf there. He was the Nance of CBS for golf. But I think he does a really good job framing, telling you what's going on in the game. He doesn't try to do too much, which I appreciate. The less that you say sometimes is really important. I remember, there's a lot of iconic Monday night games too. When the Bills fan died on the field, I'm pretty sure that was or not the fan,
he didn't die.
The safety, what's his name? Well, he clinically died for a minute.
Damar Hamlin. It was a Monday night game. Yep.
Yeah. And I remember a couple of those games. Like, what are you going to say in that situation? You know that your producer's yelling in your ear that you got to cut to commercial. You're trying to close it out in some way. With the DeMar situation, I remember they would be coming back. They took like a 2-hour break in that game.
Yeah.
And they kept having to go back to Joe and Troy in the booth. Joe's just doing a good job and now we wait. And, nation's praying for this guy. I mean, like, there's some of that stuff that I think it's the iconic calls, maybe not necessarily Joe Buck himself, but what he's been involved in. I think about Yankees World Series for me, huge, which I understand is probably unfairly biased.
Well, I also have bias for the golf guys. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. What's the number one thing you hate about Joe Buck?
This may be unfair since I know that we're doing this by like lane, play-by-play and color. I just think
No, you can dabble over and talk about the team.
I think Joe and
You just don't like Troy.
I think Joe and Troy are just a little flat. But they're just not my favorite combo now. And obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan. Love Troy Aikman. Troy's like he's kind of like grumpy. He's like he'll just find a guy that it's hilarious. But
Which
he's like
I think has been pretty awesome the past couple years.
it is hilarious. It's subjectively hilarious. He just doesn't like a guy, and he'll just rip him the entire broadcast.
Just rip him.
Just rip him the
Who
whole.
did he rip? He ripped the in the playoffs. He was ripping apart.
Every single game, man.
It's
Stroud,
like maybe.
It's some guy that he just like he starts the broadcast. I don't like this guy, and every time I see something, then I get a chance to just rip him. I'm just gonna rip him, and he'll just rip him the whole time. They're just a little grumpy and crusty.
He does do that sometimes, but there are other times where he has a very legitimate point that everybody is thinking, and he says it out loud, and I appreciate that.
Troy's like,
he'll be like, "Look, this quarterback, you can't throw that ball here. Here's the 5 reasons why." And Brady does that in a little bit of a different way. But
I do think it's funny. I genuinely think it's hilarious. He's just like, I'm just gonna rip this guy. I don't care. Everyone.
I do wonder how often they do they're there for the week, or they could probably come in on Thursday if it's a Sunday night game.
And
they spend a couple hours with everybody, especially the quarterbacks and the coaches.
Yeah,
and you do wonder sometimes, did that interview just go so poorly that Troy's going to come in with an axe to grind on this guy?
I mean, Troy's a legend, man. I feel like maybe some of these kids like don't fully respect
That's the other thing. Yeah. He's probably like, I mean, these guys are not. This is the football that I was having to deal with.
It's like, I'm in the Hall of Fame. These guys think I'm some broadcaster.
These guys have never taken a hit in their life. I mean, you see some of those, dude. I thought that was the best part for me of the Cowboys Netflix thing that they did.
Oh yeah.
The short series. I thought one of the best parts of that was Troy, and seeing him get ripped to pieces in some of those games, and then just get back up and step up in the pocket.
Troy, dude. Troy had so many concussions. Literally got hit so hard. I mean, that was my 90s, right? I'm growing up watching the Cowboys winning Super Bowls and Troy just getting 500 concussions.
Yeah.
They got smashed back in the day, man.
Yeah, man.
Like they're always peeling Troy off of the old turf in Irving. So I feel like those guys I like them. But compared to some of the other,
a
little flat for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a little bit of a downer. I think it's funny, but they're not my favorite combo. So I think Joe Buck gets a little bit of association there.
Do you think part of that has to do with my theory that the Sunday Night Football is truly the prime? Have I ever told you this theory? I think Sunday Night Football is what the NFL views as their cream of the crop. And I wonder if that gets priced differently than the Monday night and Thursday night rights. So I wonder if NBC pays a lot more. I guess Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern primetime is the primetime spot. I mean, that was, basically 60-minute spot. And that's why.
Yeah.
So, or you did, when Survivor was a big deal, or I remember, what was that show with that British dude that they were trying out singing for him and he just ripped him to pieces? America's Got Talent. No, it was the one before.
The one that Carrie Underwood won.
Yeah. Dude, man, how are we blanking on this right now?
Simon Cowell.
Everything in this country for about 5 years when we were in high school.
Dude, what was it? It wasn't X Factor. It was
no, it was the original one.
American Idol.
American Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back, bringing the point back here. Took a little detour there.
We still got it.
When we're thinking about the primetime spots and why some are better than others, I do believe this theory that Sunday Night Football is generally just better games.
Yeah, man.
Holistically across the board.
For sure. They're flexing that game. It's the best game. It's the best matchup.
In that game. Define for us what the flex is and how that works. So I think this is an important piece of this.
Yeah. You kind of have an idea at the beginning of the season who the good teams are going to be, and you set a schedule. But they famously don't set the schedule.
It's like week 15 on or something.
Yeah,
they have a little bit of a wiggle room. They know what day you're going to play. Yes. I think for the most part,
but
except
the
for
slot
the
you're in
Thanksgiving
can
stuff.
move. The slot you're in can move. So the Jaguars are good this year, or the Patriots are good this year. All of a sudden, these matchups that you thought were going to be nothing at the beginning of the season become two division leaders with playoff implications and the storyline,
Yeah.
and those guys get flexed into the primetime slot.
Yeah.
So I think it totally is like an NFL level, probably network decision on same thing, dude. The 4:25 games are better than the 1 o'clock games. So
You think?
in general, yeah, I think you go from like the most games at 1 o'clock to fewer better games in the middle
Well,
afternoon slot to the
it,
primetime game.
it's usually more NFC focused in the afternoon. And it's also West Coast focused. And I wonder if those two factors, specifically the past, I don't know, 5, maybe even 10 years, because the West Coast generally, whether it's the AFC West or the NFC West, the West Coast generally is where those games are getting played. And we've definitely had better teams in both West divisions over the past 5, 7 years.
All I know is that every NFC South game is at 1 o'clock. That
Yeah.
says something,
I
right?
I also like that they lean in with the flex into, they'll put the Steelers against the Browns, even though the Browns are totally out of it, but they know that it's gonna be an awesome game. The AFC
Yeah.
North stuff, man,
Which
gonna
is
be
back,
different this year.
It's just kind of back to your betting philosophy there too.
That's right. Tight
Yeah.
spreads, it's
Yep.
what you're going for. All right, cool. Worst play-by-play guy is it's gotta be
Well,
Kenny Albert.
I haven't talked about my one dude, my number one, Jim Nance.
Oh, we missed this.
Jim Nance is
Austin,
my
number
number
one,
one.
Jim Nance. Shocker. Yeah, shocked by that. You and the rest of the nation.
I love Jim Nance.
Do you want me to give my critique first, or you want to just kind of
I
fluff
do
him for a little
think
bit?
Jim Nance loves the voice of Jim Nance. That's my only critique on Jim Nance. I think, and for same way that I think Joe Buck bleeds into your rankings because of the baseball,
Yeah.
Nance blends into my ranking for golf.
Yeah.
So I think him and Tony also had a season where they were electric. I think they've lost some of their luster over the last few years as well.
It's a Tony problem, in my opinion, though, but it does bleed into my thinking on Nance. It's hard for me to separate.
I think from a football experience standpoint, it does affect, right? Because that is a team. But Nance, to me, he's kind of the elder statesman right now, and is just, for as long as we have him, he's a national treasure. So to me, he's like still in his prime, right? He's still in his prime, maybe end window of his prime.
Yeah.
Michaels, I think, is past his prime. Turico is kind of coming into himself. So I think that's kind of how those rankings hit for me.
Yeah. Nance, for me, the only issues that I have are because of Tony. I like Nance overall, but I've also noticed that with Tony kind of bleeds into Nance's brain a little bit.
That's why I feel like
he
Tony's
still loves
trying
to
to
talk
be
about
like
Patrick
Nance.
Mahomes way too much.
Yes, he
does that in golf too, man. Like him buying Scheffler's old like SUV.
Did he really?
That was pretty weird.
I didn't know that he did that.
Yeah.
He bought his like SUV that he'd been driving for a long time.
I think in like high school, like his like high school car. He bought it for, I think, a lot of money. I think it was like a charity auction situation, which nice of him to do.
Yeah.
Jim, don't at me. We don't live that far from each other.
Yeah.
But the reality is that was a little bit weird for me because he loves Scotty. And he does that with the football players too. He loves Josh Allen. I mean, he loves Mahomes, but he loves Josh Allen. Yeah. And I think he gets a little bit, especially for a play-by-play guy. I don't mind that as much when it's the color commentator because you're trying to give me a little action. I want Jim to be a little more direct like Turico or Al or Joe.
Yeah. I mean, he lived in the Tiger era. They're always, I get it, man. They're always looking for the next big guy.
Yeah.
I mind it less when Nance does it than when the color commentators do it. That really triggers me.
Yeah. Opposite the way I feel. All right. Worst for you is Joe Buck.
I was kind of messing with you. I could say your guy because I don't know. Honestly, don't know who that is.
Kenny Albert, there's a reason why you don't know who he is. Nice guy, I'm sure enough. He does Fox. He's like the C crew for Fox.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the color guy is that he works with. I think we might have it here. He used to work with Mark Sanchez. I actually don't know who's in there now.
Dude.
It's probably the Daryl Johnston who's doing the rotation after the Mark Sanchez incident. But I don't even know how to say this. He sounds like he is 80 years old with the deepest, most stern voice from the 50s that you could ever imagine. And then you see the guy and he kind of fits his voice. He's just kind of a blockhead and his voice matches it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I agree, man. He was with Greg Olson last year though, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, let's put a
All right, yeah.
bookmark there. Let's put a bookmark there.
We'll pivot into the color commentary guys.
I think Kenny
So
Albert is a big hockey guy too.
yes, does a lot of
Yeah.
hockey.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. My number 3 in the best of the color commentary guys is Chris Collinsworth, who we just talked about a little bit with the Turico situation.
Yeah.
But I think Chris does a good job. I think he's past the point of caring, kind of like how we talked about Aikman, which I think is pretty
So,
great
dude,
for just comedic
I
value.
yeah.
I like how he slides in. The slide is it's iconic, man. You just kinda can't beat it. So, not the biggest pick for me, but I just hate a lot of the color commentary guys, so he had to fit in somewhere. Number
I've
3
got
for you,
I've
which is
got
my number 2, so we'll
dude,
hit it.
I got interesting here because one of these guys, the number 3 technically supplanted number 2 on my list. And I'm gonna use some airtime to defend my man here. But number 3 is Tom Brady for me. He took a little bit of time to kind of figure it out in the booth, maybe still figuring it out, but his gravitas potential, like his gravitas ceiling is so high. And no surprise that Tom Brady got much better with an offseason in year 2, I think it was for him
Yeah, he
this
had to
year.
watch his
So
own tape.
he is trending up. He didn't really do it for me the first year. He's got crazy potential, and I did enjoy his commentary a lot this year,
Yeah, man.
more than I did last year. So he's number 3, but he's moving up. He's
Yeah,
moving
he's
up.
trending for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the worst Tom Brady we will ever see, is what we saw these past 2 years. And this last year was a huge jump to your point. Here's the common theme for all the guys for me. This is true for Collinsworth, and I should have said this. They have to actually tell me what's going on in the game. Provide me some insight that I could not have taken as a
Do you get
football
that from
layman.
Collingsworth? Do you get that from Collingsworth?
For sure, especially on the receiver routes,
Maybe.
because he'll talk a lot about, QB missing him and where he should have been throwing the ball and
Yeah.
stuff like that. He
Brady's
doesn't do
so
it as
much
much as
better at that.
others, but
Brady's so much better at
oh,
that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Brady, and that's why Brady is number 2 for me. He tells you what's going on in the game, and he did such a better job when he leaned into this the latter half of this season, when he was starting to say, "Well, you see that? He's looking at 2 different routes here. He's looking at, 2 different coverages. Coverage change right here. This is what this means for a quarterback when he sees these things, and this is why it was important to me." Whoa, awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Like, thank you for showing me as a non-football guy. Again, part of my problem, we talk about this in my handicapping all the time for betting,
Yeah.
is that I don't have the ability to see some of the X's and O's stuff, and I'm so much driven towards the narrative. Check out our last pod.
Check
But
out the pod.
I think that I agree. Brady does a great job with some of that stuff, and he's gonna just keep getting better,
Which
man.
I thought Romo
Yeah,
was excellent at his first few years in the booth. He was reading the game like a quarterback would read the game. Obviously, some of the gimmicky stuff was still really cool, where he was like calling the play pre-snap, telling you where the ball is going to go, just because he understands the flow of the game. He's seeing what the defense is doing in real time, and he can help break it down for you. That's I think a really good color commentator is helping you learn the game in the flow of the game. That from a true fan makes such a difference. I feel like old Romo, amazing at that.
I just don't know what is he thinking or what changed for him. And the only theories that I have is that he got so enamored with some of the videos of him doing the like oh Jim like all
Dude,
that stuff
he's like trying to
that
change everything.
he's become like a cartoon character version of himself.
I agree, man. I think there's a little bit of like in the way your voice sounds in the booth. He's not just breaking down the game, which is what the fans really appreciated about him. He's trying to get the iconic soundbite in over with Jim Nance in the booth. I'm like,
Yeah. Or
Romo,
like
what in the world are you trying to do, man?
or when he was and maybe this is kind of like a magician is how I'm thinking about Tony Romo now. You know how a magician once you see it enough, you're kinda like, "Okay, that's not that impressive." You've seen the trick,
He's trying to like
and
get
you're
in
like,
his
"Okay, that's a card trick I've seen before. That's not gonna blow my mind." That's kind of like him trying to pre-call what's gonna happen before it actually happened. Because the first 2 years when he was doing that, where he had some of those, he was like, this is what's about to happen." and it happened,
Yeah.
that I think was what the coolest part was of
Yeah.
Tony Romo. But then he started trying to do that too much. He was wrong a bunch, and that's like his shtick now, as opposed to it
And
being
yeah, initially,
cool
it
like
wasn't
Brady
like
does.
it wasn't a parlor trick.
Right.
He's just really understands this game and knows what's gonna happen, and then it became a parlor trick. To me, one of the authenticity versus trying to be a media guy,
Yeah.
I think Romo, and I love Tony Romo, I really do. He is trying to become Jim Nantz, trying to become this media guy,
Yeah, dude,
and
it's like
that's not
politicians.
that's totally, man. It's really not what his appeal is.
Yeah,
And that's
just
not
be
even as a
authentic.
quarterback, undrafted guy, amazing career with the Cowboys, should have won a Super Bowl, Dez caught it. Like he was always kind of like this just like very authentic guy that you're always rooting for. And you felt that in the booth too. And then he's trying to like think he's doing too much, man. It's one of those
Yeah,
things like doing less would actually make his appeal come back a lot more and
yeah.
getting back to the basics. Don't try to change your voice. Just be good at your job and people will really appreciate it.
Stop
He
getting
is
so much plastic surgery. I don't know.
he's doing
I don't
too
know.
much, man. That's like less would be way more for Romo for
Yeah.
sure.
No, I totally agree with that. All right, you're number 2.
I love Greg Olson. I love Greg Olson. Greg Olson, I don't dude, Greg Olson for me, I loved him calling games. The things that I appreciate about Greg Olson is maybe it's why you like Collinsworth a little bit. I think we get quarterback super important. Everyone wants to know how the quarterback sees the game. I like Greg Olson because he was a tight end, which means you have to understand all the blocking schemes and
Yep,
you have to understand routes.
yep.
And I feel like he had a really good understanding of the defense as well. He's just like an in the trenches guy,
Yeah,
and I really liked the different perspectives that I got from Greg Olson. And obviously just massive hometown bias. Like I
yeah,
think, yeah, that Greg, I think gave the analyst lens from different vantage points, which I do feel like there's a little too much quarterback everything, which I get worn out on over
yeah,
time.
man. No, I think that's fair. I was trying to think why I really dislike Greg Olson,
Why,
and it's
dude?
not that I dislike him. I like
G
him when
Reg,
he's getting interviewed. I think he's a really good guy.
he's
I
the
like what
greatest
he's about.
rapper that's ever been in the booth.
He's too monotone for me, is where I think I baked out on it. I think that is my problem with Greg Olson. It's hard for me with these commentators if they don't have some animation in their voice
Yeah.
and emphasize where they need to in order to make their point. And I think that's where it gets lost for me. I don't disagree. He brings a ton of really good information. He's like Brady in that way.
Yeah.
But you also have to tell the story in addition to just giving me the information.
You don't how big does
I
being
need the
a
story.
and if he's a great rapper, that does nothing for you?
All right, number 1 best was, wow, the first one where we agree.
Massive respect to number 1,
Yeah, dude. Kirk Herbstreit
Kirk Herbstreit.
is the best in the game right now, across the board.
He is truly dude,
Talk about guys that actually tell you what's going on the field. He does it better than anybody. He was an acquired taste for me.
I same
First
way for
year,
me. Same way for
that
me.
was hard.
Same way for me.
And I was asking a lot of I think I asked you and some other people in regards to his college stuff, and I was like, "Do you guys actually like Herb Street?" And it was a pretty resounding yes, which in year 1, I was pretty surprised by. He just kinda seemed a little dweeby to me, but he's coming into his own. The number one thing that I love about Herb Street is that he works with Al, and he gets Al talking about old times, about old stories. He does such a good job with his questions for Al, especially when they had a bunch of these sleeper games,
Yeah, dude,
year 1 of Prime.
they truly called some terrible games.
Yeah, Kirk's in there and he's saying, "Well, Al, you called a baseball game here back in 85." And I was like, "That's right. That was, the Braves playing the Padres and somebody walked off with a home run." And you're like, "Wow, Al still
Yeah.
got it." But it's because Herbie's
He was
giving
setting them
you
up. Yeah.
yeah, I love that he's doing that. I think what he's doing is a service to America and he should get the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Whoa. Dude, I mean, think it's the same probably techniques that he had to perfect on the set of Game Day with Corso, right?
Yeah.
Also a
Yeah.
legend. Also, like, you kinda have to,
A
like
little past his prime
you
at that
gotta you have to
time, so
kinda, like at
you
some
gotta,
point, you have to, like, know how to use
lead the
them.
witness a little bit.
Yes. So, I feel like they've been grooming him for a long time. My respect for him is mainly in his work ethic, like we talked about. He's like,
Yeah.
dude, he's calling the Thursday night game. He does game day. He flies from game day, does the primetime Saturday night game. Then he's doing, like, selection Sunday, waking up
Yeah.
the next morning, like, dude, he
And on
is
the latter half of that, apparently he's flying commercial for a lot of this stuff because ESPN's so cheap. Like, Amazon is flying him
jetting him
in
around.
on the jet, but apparently ESPN is so
Bezos is
cheap that
flying him to
depending on the
space.
distance, they're trying to catch
Bezos is
flights
flying
and
him to
stuff.
space.
Yeah, dude.
I dude, I feel
First
like
space game.
it's kind of like a Turico thing for me, although he's strictly in football. Even context switching between college and NFL,
Yeah.
and I feel like the college insight is such a unique differentiator because he remembers all these guys from college in the NFL games, calls back. He has all that extra context that he brings into the booth.
The unique value that he brings to someone like me is he talks about their college careers.
I love that. He knows more about the college side than any of those other guys that are calling the NFL because he's doing those coaches interviews during the week for his college job.
Yep.
So he is being able to connect those two worlds of players, different systems, different coaches, the trees. He's seeing the game at a different level.
Also kind of leading the show at this point. All right, let's hit some golf takes and get out of here. What do we got? What do we got this week? They're in Florida, Palm
Yeah,
Beach,
it's
Palm
I
Beach
think it's
Gardens.
Cognizant this week. Looks like
Check that. Actually, I'm not sure that it is.
Cognizant Classic this week, and then Arnold Palmer.
Did they rename this?
Yes.
What was it last year? It's like I know the course that they play.
This wasn't Jack's turn. This wasn't like the Bear thing, was it last year?
I don't think so.
Because it's in Florida, right?
Yeah, I mean they play this I think every year. Maybe they don't do it every year.
They got a new. Who was it? Honda?
Honda Classic used to be not there, but somewhere else, and that would have been this week. Yeah, Honda Classic should be this week, right?
Yes.
That was typically maybe
yes.
that was at West Palm.
It used to be the Honda Classic.
And
it used
what
to be the
course
Honda
did
Classic.
it used to be at? The Honda Classic.
That used to be. I thought that was at Jack Nicklaus's course that had like the bear trap at the Honda Classic.
Yeah, the 3 holes.
Yeah.
They'd set up a big bleacher set behind one of them. There was a par 3.
Yeah.
Kind of like
over
the
water.
Players.
Over water.
Yeah, it was like the mini version of the Players.
Yes.
Leading up to that week. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's
a Jack course? Bent greens?
Yes.
No way he's doing bent greens in Florida.
Yeah. Yep. True story.
He's a psycho.
Dude, this one, I mean, it's also interesting time in the schedule where I think a lot of the main guys are taking this week off. Everyone's going to be at Arnold Palmer Classic at Bay Hill.
Right. And they've got TGL now.
TGL during the week.
This was like a TGL week. Are they doing TGL every week? What's the setup on that?
Yeah.
But how are guys, when they're doing the West Coast tour like they just did, how are they coming back for that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is like Ryan Gerard and Shane Lowry are the two top betting favorites in the field. Your boy Brooks Koepka is plus 3,000.
BK's playing?
BK's playing.
Ooh, let's put a little money on that. I like that.
BK's playing. This is a weak field.
Plus 3,000?
This is a weak field. I'm looking at it. You've got BK's a big name, Shane Lowry, Zalatoris, Homa is going to be in the field, but
let's go into a little bit of your betting theories on golf.
I have been here's what I think on golf, and we could do more on this in the off season. I really don't bet golf until Sunday at about 2:00 on the East Coast because I think the spread, every shot, the spreads,
and they are mostly like the leaders have just teed off. They're probably 3 holes in at that point. Less than that. They may have not even teed off.
I will start
yet.
To sprinkle action there. I think I really start to get into it when the leaders are on like hole 7, 8, or 9.
Okay.
At that point, guys that are a few holes ahead of them have made their charge, maybe posted a score or getting close to posting a score.
Yep.
I think the spreads that you can get on golf. Here's the arbitrage. It's back 9 on Sunday, and you've got like 4 no-name guys that are kind of, in contention. Like maybe they're tied for the leader, one stroke off. Then you've got like a Rory or Scotty that are lurking.
Yep.
Scotty like is making a charge. I think the back nine at these big tournaments, signature tournaments, like I think they price them like a Scotty. If he's 2 shots back, he's got 9 holes to play. They price him at like plus 1,500,
Yeah.
plus 2,000, plus
Yeah.
800, plus 900. Mathematically, they're saying he has no chance of winning. When you and I know that like, the nerves for these guys that haven't won before are insane, and they're going to get shaky, particularly when they see a veteran, like one of these top guys that
it's
are
like the Tiger effect
totally,
on
man.
Sundays.
And it is like it's already pressure, and they're already starting to feel things they haven't felt. That was kind of the window that I would bet a lot at last year. Is I'd kind of wait for one of those guys to get a birdie, the spreads to pop, and then I would buy it on the back nine and just wait for them to implode. Which you saw like Bridgman at Pebble Beach a couple weeks ago. Famous. I mean, he won last week, which I think is awesome. But
yeah, I
like
mean,
he almost blew it. He
water.
almost blew it on Sunday at Riv, right? He had a 5-shot lead on Sunday and almost got caught. 6 shots and almost got caught. So I almost bet Rory in that spot when he was up 4 shots.
Rory lost by 1.
Rory lost by 1.
Yeah.
That's a great example of mathematically. I think Rory was plus 1,000, plus 1,500, but with a 5-shot lead. But Bridgman hadn't been there before and is not having a great round. So it ended up being very close. So that's where I think the spreads are totally irrational on the back nine in golf, where they price it like it's a mathematical impossibility. But if you understand the nerves of golf, that's where there's a lot of value. Just from a pure value. Like if you're getting plus 1,500 and you think they have a good chance of winning, where else are you going to get that kind of action?
Yeah, this is something that we didn't cover 2 weeks ago when we did the betting show.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think you're making an important point about, and I want to maybe peel back the curtain as far as what is happening there and why you feel that way. The thing here is the books have not caught up from a live betting perspective to they, are the market makers at the beginning pre-game. They have figured all of that math. The live stuff is hard for them. So what we start seeing in the NFL now is there's less selection towards the end of the games.
Yeah.
So they will just take stuff off of the board that you can't bet. You'll see last 5 minutes of the game, typically they'll go, the total will have gone away maybe, and there may only be money lines that are available. There's no spreads that are left.
Yep.
What's cool about golf is you're just betting a future essentially on a top 5, top 10, or
outright
at
win.
that point outright winner, which is always going to be live because they feel like there's not, it's enough numbers for them to be able to control or see what's going on to have the situation. They price Scotty, I think, to fair market value prior to the tournaments.
Yes.
But
I don't think there's not value for
Scotty. His Scotty factor.
There's not value for Scotty on Wednesday or Thursday.
Right.
There is value for Scotty if he has a bad opening round and you can get a great number for Scotty top 5.
Yep.
Or on live on Sunday, if he had a scorcher round on Saturday and he's 4 under through the first 7 holes on Sunday, like, how do you think it's going to go? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's the Tiger effect, man. A few of these guys, if they're stalking, if you see their name on the leaderboard and you haven't been there before and it's on Sunday and you're looking at a $4 million check and, you got these world killers, you're like, a lot of thoughts. It's affecting the field.
It's still golf at the end of the
golf,
day.
man.
It's unlike other sports.
It's
a game, not really a sport.
Yeah. You have to putt it out. You have to hit these shots.
That's
under pressure.
Mental. You're playing yourself. You're not even playing the man.
You're not playing the version of yourself Thursday through Saturday. You're experiencing things that you have never felt before, and that's where I think for a lot of these guys, it's so hard to get that first win. So hard to get that first win. Bridgman, he had to have a 6-stroke lead to hang on by 1. Like that's kind of, even with that cushion.
And he almost missed the comebacker. And I thought for sure he was going to push it.
Like that's like, that is the level of like, that's how hard it is for those guys to get the first win.
I know.
Cause it's like I feel like they just don't know if they can do it.
So who are the guys for you that when they are 2 shots back with 9 holes to go or, range, maybe even 3 holes to go, or these are the names that you are typically saying, "Yeah, I feel like this guy has a better chance to win than what the book is saying his odds are." I
There's
mean,
like
Scotty number 1
Dude,
right
I'd
now.
I'd say it's kind of like the Ryder Cup team guys or like the top it's like for me it's like top 10
Okay.
points guys. I go down pretty far. I sprinkled $3 at for Pebble Beach, AT&T at Pebble Beach. Like Tommy Fleetwood was making a charge on the back nine and he had plus 3,000. I put just a few bucks on Tommy. Guys like that can absolutely get white hot on Sunday and go birdie, eagle birdie. So I think there's some guys like that that I think are JT when he's playing well. I think is I've won a few bets on him in that spot.
Mm.
Chasing down some guys that are like
I don't know, man. I don't know that
JT, this
JT has
was
the killer
last
instinct
year.
anymore.
JT, dude, in some of these tournaments for sure. Like Cantlay when he's playing well. Like there's some guys that I just feel like can figure it out down the stretch. But it's
What about someone like Straka? Does he
no,
toe that line for
no,
you?
no,
No, he
no.
doesn't.
He doesn't.
Interesting.
No.
Okay, he's a guy for me that I I don't feel strongly this way, and I don't bet this as much as you do. You'll often text me and be like, "This is who I like right now." I started paying attention. I mean, Rory, obviously, Scotty, obviously, Tommy, I agree with that. I'm just kind of going through the top points list right now. Xander, I don't feel that way at all, to be honest. He doesn't have it feels like he does not have killer instinct in him. Maybe at one point it was
Xander.
like a flash in the pan for him when he won the Olympics and also a major that same year.
I feel
I don't know.
like honestly, I don't feel that way about Hideki. I've almost faded him in that spot, which is a little
Yeah.
disrespectful.
No, I think Hideki, for whatever reason, he has a little bit of the yips right now.
Yeah. There's not a ton of guys. It's honestly
I mean, what about somebody like Victor? If Victor
yes,
is 2
yes,
strokes
yes,
back with 9 to
yes,
go, are you
yes,
hammering plus
yes.
1,000? Okay.
I'll hammer
I
Victor
mean, I
for
think
sure.
he's a name that I think if you were just, listening to this
Yep.
like our listeners are right now, they'd probably be surprised by that name. Why do you feel that way about Victor?
I think dude, honestly, I've sprinkled some on Akshay too. There's some guys that I just feel like have a little bit of that match play moxie.
It's kind of some swag
It is,
is
dude.
what
It's
you
like
need.
it's the moxie, man. It's like down the stretch, they feel like they can get it done. There's some guys that I think are literally playing for third place or playing for fourth place. And there's guys that like, dude, I think Ludwig is one of those guys for sure.
Yeah.
There's some guy, dude,
Hey,
there's
I
some
mean,
guys that can absolutely
as Kisner said, they still play a ton of money for you to finish, 20th in PGA
yeah.
Tour.
I
So,
think there's guys that are like trying to protect downside, trying to protect points, trying to post a finish, which I get for all the reasons.
yeah.
There's guys like
Dude,
I
Patrick
think
Reed at one point was
Patrick Reed
a
is that guy right
total
now,
shark,
dude. Have you seen
man.
what he's doing on the DP
Yeah, he's
World
doing
Tour?
yeah.
He's playing great right now.
I mean, imagine when he comes back to
Morikawa,
PGA. That's gonna be
no.
great.
I lost money on Morikawa,
Yeah,
expecting
Morikawa
him to
does not
tank.
have killer instinct in him
I
ever.
couldn't believe he pulled it off, frankly.
Yeah, same.
Just like
Ben Griffin, definitely not. JJ
dude,
Spawn, there's a little bit of that for sure last year, what we saw from him.
I was always fading JJ Spawn. I hate to say that.
I know.
He proved
But
me wrong.
and I think rightly so. Dude, I think another sleeper here when I look at this list is Oberg.
For sure, 100%.
I mean, he's someone that is not getting a ton of press right now because he's not winning,
Is
but
he even playing right now?
he is. He
Okay.
played last week.
I haven't seen him in any of the fields really.
I don't think he's playing very well, which is part of the problem. But
Yeah.
man, when
Dude,
that
when
guy
he's
was rolling last
dude,
year,
he is
whew,
Masters, right? Like all these majors.
yeah.
I feel like for
Dude,
sure.
what about Zalatoris? Has he reached this level for you yet where you're
No.
like, if he's coming from behind the pack?
No.
Interesting.
I would say Cantlay is one of those guys for me. I think, dude, the guy that I've got my eye on that I think is gonna win next is
Yes.
Kurt Kitayama.
Yeah.
He is playing
He's
great
playing really
right
well,
now,
man.
dude. I think Kitayama and Bridgman are definitely the guys that are like they're on the top page of the leaderboard every single tournament.
And what's his face? The Siwoo Kim, dude. He's
I love
also
Siwoo.
playing really good golf right now, and he's gonna get one.
I think
I agree with you on Kitayama. I would say that for
Kitayama
Siwoo Kim.
We watched him.
Can we get odds on these guys winning a tournament this year? Is that available?
I need to look for that bet because if that bet existed after Bridgman lost the Pebble, I was like, he's gonna win. He's gonna get one this year. I think Kitayama's that next guy. If we can get that bet,
look into that.
Anytime win, it's probably not going to be a great number.
Well, I wonder if we can get it on the exchanges instead, because I bet someone like Kalshi may have this, or you can start one, right? Can't you start a question on Kalshi?
Like, will they win this year? Yes or no? I bet you can, dude.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up the show here, guys. Thank you for joining. We'll get you the answers on how you can bet some of these futures next. Not next week. We're in a every 2 week schedule. So next show for us is going to be the March 11th ish. Yeah. That'll be great.
Ryan, always a pleasure, my friend.
This was fun show. What they know about this, that? I got the bars, we can have a little chit chat. Too fake with it, nah, never been that. Float is dead, you might as well been that.